Welcome back to the Rob Dibble Show. Ben Darnell filling in for you. Dibbs is off to Great American Ballpark with the rest of the Nasty Boys, kissing babies and signing autographs. In a couple of weeks, the 29th and the 30th, Monday and Tuesday, Rob and I will be down at Shorehaven Golf Club for the CT Open, the Connecticut Open. The best of the best amateurs in our state come together to see who will be champion in 2024. The Connecticut State Golf Association Executive Director, among many other things, Mike Moraghan in studio. Mike, thanks for coming in, man. You got to be super excited about this summer, all the golf that we have already played, but the CT Open coming up on the 29th.
Yeah, thanks, Ben. It's great to be here with you guys. And, yeah, it's been a great summer so far. We've had some fantastic golf, especially from our younger players, teenage kids, boys and girls, just excelling on the golf course. And couldn't be more excited about the Connecticut Open at Shorehaven. It's a fantastic golf course, and we got a great field of players.
Tell everybody about the Connecticut State Golf Association. It's not some exclusive club with a secret handshake in a back room somewhere. This is open for everybody, and you encourage everyone in the state to get involved.
Yeah, exactly. We actually have more public golf courses in Connecticut than we do private clubs, and a little bit more than 50% of the players in Connecticut play public golf, daily fee golfers. Some of them join a men's club or a women's club at a public golf course. But we serve the interests of all golfers in Connecticut and all clubs in Connecticut in a variety of ways. We provide a course rating for every golf course in the state, which is the foundation of the handicap system. So, you go out and play and you post your 82 or whatever you shoot. In your case, Ben, probably 72.
Thank you. Yes, you are correct.
And, that's how you calculate your handicap. And the handicap is based upon the course rating that we provide, which is really a mathematical formula for, the golf course in terms of its length and the hazards and the other penalty areas that come into play.
Now, when my grandfather was a member at the, I think, Lands Meadows Golf Club up in Buffalo, New York, whenever I went with him after the round, we have to go to this analog computer. It's basically like a typewriter, put in the exact scores and calculate everything. And then the beauty of it back in the 80s was the club would do the rest of the calculations for you. This is before we are linked up with the internet, linked up with other clubs, linked up with people around the state. And now we can even do this stuff on our phone. We don't have to go to that crazy room with that stupid analog computer in the back of the clubhouse. Tell everybody about GHIN, the GIN app, and how this is really important to calculate your handicap and really keep up on everything that's going on in CSGA golf.
Yeah, you're exactly right. I mean, you're a lot younger than I am. I remember when you had to enter it on a piece of paper, and then the pro would do the handicap calculations on a legal pad. But yeah, you can use the GIN app. GHIN is GIN, and with that, you can enter your scores, and they're updated daily. It wasn't too long ago where it was every 15 days when your handicap would be updated. So you go out and play 3 great rounds of golf, your handicap is going to be updated immediately. Or if you're struggling for a few days, your handicap gets adjusted. But it's done now every day. The USGA that runs the GIN system has your handicap updated for you, and you can do it on your phone.
And there's no secrets anymore. Like, this, Mike Moraghan, other than being the executive director of the CSGA, you have a long history of all forms and facets of golf. And back in your college coaching days, I'm sure you got the book before you showed up to a course. You guys probably walked the course. You find every hill, every nook and cranny. Now, like, the GIN app has those nook and crannies already in like a 3D version. The information that's provided to you now as a golfer, even when you've never played a course, is so much more immense than what it used to be.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, the mapping is extraordinary now in terms of what you can see on putting greens and the contours and the break and fairway widths, everything from tee to green is available to a golfer now. And distances, obviously. I can remember it wasn't too long ago when distance measuring devices, rangefinders, first came out.
Yeah.
And obviously players still use those, but yeah, there are apps on your phone where you can know how far of a shot you have at all times. And yeah, that's tremendous. It just makes it fun for golfers to be able to do all that.
And you guys are big on kids. I mean, you're big on raising the next generations of golfers in this state, in this region. And you got a lot of pride in that. And we've got some good ones. We were talking about Ben James off the air before this interview started, some of the other kids in your junior program. But the kids is really where your guys' main focus is.
Yeah, Ben. I mean, we're really fortunate in Connecticut. I mean, we're a small state and we're a northern state, but I'm really pleased with the extent of involvement that junior golfers and their parents have in bringing kids along in the game. And it's really a team effort from a number of organizations like ours. The First Tee here in Connecticut does a fantastic job introducing young people and kids into the game. The PGA section in Connecticut does a great job running a lot of tournaments for kids. We're fortunate to have a lot of really outstanding teaching professionals in Connecticut who, get hold of kids when they're very young and then help them along through their teen years. And I think that's why we're seeing all of a sudden some really extraordinary young players. You mentioned Ben James. This year we had the youngest pairing in the finals of the Connecticut Men's Amateur in the history of the championship. It's the oldest state amateur championship in the country, 122-year-old tournament. And this year we had two 16-year-olds in the finals.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, we had a player who plays at Hartford Golf Club named Austin Perkins, won it. He beat a kid named Jack Chung, who's from Greenwich, both 16 years old and phenomenal players. And we just finished our junior amateur championship, and boy who won that, Luke Stennett, plays out of Tallwood. His father is Zach Stennett, a head pro there. It was extraordinary. A kid from Hamden area, North Cherry. Actually, I think his last name should be pronounced Cherie. Talked to his dad about that. But North was 4 up after 9 holes and 2 or 3 under par, legitimately on his own ball. On the back 9, Luke shot 29 and won the match 2 up on the 18th hole. It was just spectacular golf. So we're seeing these kids who are just playing tremendous golf. And on the girls' side, there's a young girl named Arabella Lopez, plays out of Reading. Last year, she won our Connecticut Women's Amateur Championship. This year, she's already won the Puerto Rico Women's Amateur Championship. Yvette O'Brien just won our Junior Girls Championship at Watertown. She's already committed to play golf at TCU in the fall of 2025. Another outstanding young player. So both boys and girls doing some fantastic things.
I'd like to think it's something you're doing, something in our water, but man, I see it all over the country, really. Like, these youngsters, they have no fear. That's the one thing I will say. Like, yes, there's a lot of them that can hit 350, and the strength and the athleticism now in the golfer is second to none compared to what it used to be. But the nerves, like, they have no fear when they get up on a tee box and they're the youngest person out there.
Yeah, in so many different aspects of the game, as you know, when you're a competitive athlete, there's all kinds of things. There's the physical conditioning, the mental conditioning, the body language, the attitude you have, and I think honestly we're seeing a greater level of maturity among 16, 17, 18-year-old kids than I certainly recall back when I was a kid. It's very rare these days when you see a kid have a meltdown and throw clubs, and they oftentimes these kids are conducting themselves like seasoned professionals in terms of their attitude and their decision making on the golf course. So it's nice to see.
All right, talk about the big one, the Connecticut Open, the 29th and 30th. Like, we still have one more qualifier to go. That will be Monday at Farms Country Club. But talk about the field, how you get into this field, and like what's the light at the end of the tunnel? What happens with the winner?
Yeah, it's for both amateurs and professionals. Amateur golfers have to be from Connecticut, be a member of a golf course club here in Connecticut, but it's also open to professionals outside Connecticut. So we have both our very best PGA Club Pro professionals in Connecticut, a lot of other pros that will come in from out of state to play in it. The total purse, the professional purse, is $75,000 with $15,000 going to the winner. And it's a very strong field. We have a number of players. Last year's winner, Brett Stegmeyer, from New Haven, Madison area growing up, played at the University of Florida, has played on the PGA Tour a number of years. Brett won it last year. And players like Peter Ballo, who has won our Connecticut Open twice, played in the PGA Championship last year at Kiowa Island at the Ocean Course. Some of the top amateurs in the country as well who've had success in Connecticut. So it's amateurs and professionals. We held 6 qualifiers for players to get into the field, number of exemptions as well. The total field will be, I'm going to say it's going to be between 144 and 150 players. Will start on Monday, the 29th, We play Monday, Tuesday, then the field is cut to the low 50 in ties for the final round on Wednesday.
That will be an exciting 3 days. Again, Dibble Show will be out there on those days before the cut, and then the big championship round on Wednesday. Like I said, Qualifier 5 will be at the Farms Country Club on Monday. There's plenty of more CSGA tournaments on the championship schedule as well. If you want to find out more of this information online, CSGAlinks.org. All right, tell me about some of these. The Father-Son Championship, like that one jumps off the page. That's awesome. So it's a twosome father-son, kind of like we see the Dailies in the Woods competing all the time every summer. Tell me more about this tournament.
Yeah, that's one of my favorites, Ben. I mean, I used to play in that with my dad 45, 50 years ago.
That's awesome.
And it's really fun because it's fathers and sons of all ages. There'll be a 30-something dad with a 10-year-old son. There'll be a 75-year-old dad with a 50-year-something son. So it's just both players hit a tee shot, and then they decide which ball they're going to play. So after the tee shots, it's alternate shot in. And I oftentimes serve as the starter, and the last thing I tell them is just be nice to each other out there.
Right.
But typically, they're both very nervous. They don't want to let their dad down, or their dad doesn't want to let their son down. So they put a lot of pressure on themselves. But ultimately, end of the day, they really have a good time, and it is one of one of the tournaments I enjoy the most, I think.
That will be August 12th, Mill River Country Club for that one. Plenty of other tournaments, mid-amateur, the senior amateur, and some USGA qualifiers as well. Tell people how that works, like CSGA, Connecticut, USGA, the country. But you still want to have your USGA ranking and your USGA amateurship and keep all that online as well.
Yeah, we are Connecticut State Golf Association. We're one of 58 allied golf associations, and we conduct qualifiers on behalf of the USGA. So earlier this year, we held a U.S. Open qualifier. We'll also hold this, as you say, we have U.S. four-ball qualifier later this summer at Farmington. So we conduct a number of the qualifiers, and if your handicap is low enough, you can enter a USGA national championship. And then whether you're from Connecticut or Texas, you can find a local qualifier to try to qualify for the national championship. In the USGA, one of the things that's interesting, and this is exciting for the 16-year-old Austin Perkins, who just won our Connecticut Amateur, this year for the first time, not in every state, but in most states, if a player wins their state amateur championship, they're automatically exempted into the U.S. Amateur Championship. So Austin Perkins, when he won our amateur at Torrington a month ago, that earned him an exemption into the U.S. Amateur Championship.
There you go. So many things the CSGA can do for you. CSGAlinks.org. You should have that website in your computer if you're a golfer in this state. Mike Moraghan, Executive Director of the CSGA. We will see you out there on the 29th and the 30th, and then probably stay for the championship as well. But thanks for coming in today. Thanks for what you're doing with the state of Connecticut as far as golfers go. It seems like you're doing a pretty good job with the amateurs I see around the PGA, but thanks for coming in today.
Thank you, Ben. Been a pleasure to be with you.